Jungle Brothers, done by the forces of nature. Never heard it. I was originally going to review their debut album, Straight Out the Jungle. An album that's important because it gave us an introduction to the Native Tongue family. It also had their biggest hit, I'll House You, which is the first non-Chicago hip house record. It was the first time we ever got to hear Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest. And most importantly, it gave us the term Jim Browski. But I chose not to review it because while I could hear how important it was to albums that came after it, I didn't really like it that much. And I kept seeing online people saying that the album that you really need to hear is this one, done by the forces of nature. So I decided to give it a listen, and I'm glad I did. The album starts out with Beyond This World, and as far as I can tell, this is the first time someone has sampled the Alicia Myers song, Thank You. Now, I personally know this sample from the Busta Rhymes song, Thank You, a song that features Q-Tip and Kanye West, yet Busta Rhymes produced that song himself. Fun fact. This song features everything that's great about the Jungle Brothers. It has these really bouncy, energetic drums. It has a lot of Afrocentric and mystical lyrics, but at the same time, all they really want you to do is dance. Next, we have Feeling Alright. In the song, Africa Baby Bam wakes up, goes to work early, and his boss gives him a raise and a 2-month vacation in Africa. And then he starts scat singing, which feels like the appropriate response. Sunshine is a song about trying to keep positive vibes even when things are negative. And this song gets pretty negative. I mean, like, a little girl dies in the song. The song uses the Roy Ayers sample, Life is Just a Moment Part 2. The same sample that the Sporty Thieves used on Cheapskate. What You're Waiting For is one of the 2 singles that are on this album. This song is possibly their second most popular song after I'll House You. Next we have You Make Me Sweat. I don't want to keep talking about the samples on this album, but they sampled Dance Floor by Zapp, a song that is the backbone of so many West Coast songs, specifically California Love by Tupac. They got to a lot of records before anybody else did. There's a lot of action in this song, but there's not a lot of substance. The first verse is about Africa Baby Bam's girlfriend working him too hard at his 9-to-5 job. The second verse is about Mike G's girlfriend kind of flipping out on him and he's not understanding why, and then he figures out that it's because she's pregnant. In the third verse, Africa Baby Bam is talking to a girl who doesn't remember him from last summer. It sounds like a whole lot of ideas that weren't really fleshed out, and maybe they could have left this song off the album. Acknowledge Your Own History is about Africa being the cradle of civilization and how history books don't really teach us that. And it features the funky singing by Miss Vinia Mojica. Belly Dancing Dina is a song about a woman named Dina that belly dances. In the song, Dina appears to come out of a basket dancing like a snake. I don't know a whole lot about belly dancing, but I don't think that's a thing. Good News Comin' is an instrumental track that masterfully weaves together about 9 different samples with these powerful tribal drums. And I'm at a loss as to anything else that sounded like this at the time. Next we have the title track, Done by the Forces of Nature. Arsenio Hall famously refers to De La Soul as the hippies of hip hop. And if anybody actually deserved that title, it was the Jungle Brothers. Especially with lines like rainbows, volcanoes, waterfalls, native calls, avalanches, trees and branches, b-boys and their favorite stances. Beats on a String is possibly the most old school sounding song on the album. I really like the visual refrain, they hang on my rhymes like the beads on a string. It's a really beautiful sentiment, and I'm not really sure I've ever heard anyone say anything like that before. Next we have Tribe Vibes. The Jungle Brothers have this innate ability to be these really bright, sunshiny guys that never come off corny. There's one part in the song where someone from the outside wants to come in and take pictures of one of the tribe gatherings. They smash his camera, paint him black, but by the end of the day, he becomes one of the tribe. You can't hate these guys. JB's Coming Through seems like a song that should have been earlier in the track listing, seeing as it is just an introduction to the Jungle Brothers. They actually sample Introduction to the JBs by the JBs. The JBs being James Brown's backing band, not the Jungle Brothers. With the song Black Woman, I kept waiting for it to become too saccharine or for them to use some outdated gender roles, but they never do. It's just a beautiful song. In Days to Come is a song about the biblical rapture, which seems odd to me because with all of their talk of Afrocentricity and mysticism, It seems like they wouldn't be following the teachings of the Christian Bible, but they do. Who knew? Next, we have Doing Our Own Thing, another single from the album. It feels like Buddy Part 2. It features De La Soul minus True Goy. Maybe he lost his invitation in the mail, so we get a verse from Maceo instead. We get a verse from Q-Tip. Queen Latifah's on the hook, and it features the forever underrated Moni Love. It's a really great posse joint. I prefer Buddy though. The album finishes out with Cool According to a Jungle Brother, which is a really slow swing jazz number that details what each Jungle Brother thinks is cool. The list includes, but it's not limited to, naked tanning, a nice cold wooden bowl of fresh squeezed orange juice, and bathing naked in a river. Cool. Cool. I understand why people consider this the better album and therefore a classic, but it doesn't really fit my definition of what a classic is. They didn't introduce any new ideas that weren't introduced in the previous album. This album just did what the first album did, but better. With the exception of You Make Me Sweat, there's really not a skippable track on this album. It's pretty great, so I'll probably listen to this album for a while. So have you heard Done by the Forces of Nature? Do you still bump it to this day? I'm going to be reviewing albums until I run out. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.